Vinepower is a viticultural contracting business, looking after many of the vineyards in the Marlborough region. They employ locals and backpackers, but a large proportion of their workers come through the recognised seasonal employer scheme, which began just over 10 years ago. The RSE scheme is a policy put in place by the New Zealand government that allows workers from Pacific countries to work in seasonally based sectors such as horticulture and viticulture.
We just can't get enough New Zealanders to do the work we have. We try, we advertise throughout the country, but there's just not the people available to do this sort of work. For the viticulture industries to grow, it is predominantly, there's a lot of labour required. Whether it's picking apples or stone fruit or harvesting grapes or pruning, we just don't have the technologies to be able to do a lot of that as efficiently as what we can. So since the scheme's inception, numbers have grown steadily every year. I think it was 5,000 were allowed on the scheme that first year. 10 years later, I think it's up around about 10,500, and I know that horticulture's certainly trying to get an increase. We like to plan at least a year in advance so we know who we've got coming, make sure we've got available labour. So we're communicating with our clients, pretty early on in the piece about what the plans are. So we plan to, have enough staff here for those times. We've spent quite a bit of time up in Vanuatu in particular. To the extent where we set a business up there, what we were finding is a lot of our guys were coming, to New Zealand, learning some great skills, going back to the islands and not really doing anything with them. So we thought there was an opportunity for us to be able to work with some of our staff and get the business set up and get them to be able to utilise some of those skills. It was about creating relationships with the people, with the villagers, the chiefs, to ensure that we had a good ongoing supply of staff.
Oh, you good, Winjo?
Oh, yes.
You talk brother below you, Benjamin?
Yes, we just talk with him now.
I do keep in contact with quite a few of our staff. One guy in particular, Winjo Yapi, his family lived down just by Mount Yasa in Tana, and Winjo's been about, I think, 7 or 8 times now, and he's built a huge house there for all his family. They've all got their own sort of sections of this house, and that's all come through the RSE money. We have a huge responsibility for these people we're bringing in from the islands. I mean, a lot of them are coming in for 7 months at a time. If they're from Kiribati, they're here for 9 months. It's a huge amount of time to be away from your home, from your family, from your communities. So, we're endeavouring to make life as comfortable as we possibly can for people. And, we've gone about a development so we have a real community feel for our staff. So this is St Andrew's Lodge. This is our RSE worker accommodation. It's still under construction. We've got 9 units complete. We've also got their older accommodation, which is all sort of fully occupied at this point. Oh, looking good.
Yeah, this is all ready.
All ready? Yeah. We've now got in partnership with another couple of people, and once it's complete, we'll be able to sleep 418 people with a mix of old and the new accommodation. Our offices are on site here as well. It gives us better ability for the pastoral care. Also, it's freeing up a lot of housing in town, which has been a real problem for the Marlborough region. We have a huge responsibility to look after them, to make sure they have suitable accommodation, that there's health care and dentists, etc. That there's ability to get to the churches and supermarkets and so forth, banking. So that it really is a whole other part of our business that we'd never intended. We've employed a full-time RSE manager, Mark Wittiera. Mark looks after all the recruitment. I've been doing it for the last 10 years now, so time to let somebody else take over the reins on that one. And also responsible for the day-to-day sort of pastoral care and well-being of all our staff.
There's some confusion around the boys about when they're going home. So I'm trying to get the boys who came first to go home first, so it gives a chance for the other guys to stay a bit longer and get some more work.
Oh, okay.
All good?
Yep.
But yeah, dates will be confirmed. When we're over in the islands, we give them an idea of what is expected from them when they do arrive in New Zealand. The beauty of it is that a lot of the boys have been here before, so they do know, and so for the new crew coming over, they can give them a bit more guidance. So when they do, before they come over, it's always good to lay the rules down and say what's expected, what's not expected. So we tell the boys to stay out of trouble. There's no drinking alcohol or kava, and that's to keep them out of trouble, because we want them to be happy, healthy, so that they can work hard and take a lot of money home, you know, because that's what they're here for. And so when they come to New Zealand, I remind them of those rules again. And it is a 24/7 job. If they're busy, if we can give them enough work to keep them going 6 days a week, on the Sunday, the day of rest, you know, they stay out of trouble. Like the Nevan Solomon boys, they love playing football, so we've got a football field out here, keeps them active. But if we can keep them busy with work, then we don't have any issues with their outside of work hours. We're lucky enough here at Vinepower to have 2 on-site pastoral carers 24/7, and so they call them like the mum and dad of the facility, and they know that they're here to help them, and if they need like a rice cooker breaks down or a light blows, or if they do need to go to the doctors after hours, we can sort that out as well. How's it looking out there?
You're looking good.
Oh, no, sweet, sweet. So for the boys, are they all good? They're happy?
Yeah, most of some of them, they thought harvest would be
So every group that comes over there is a leader from specific groups or islands. If they come from like Tana Island, say, there is a group leader from that island, 1 or 2. And we like to have team leaders meetings either every 2 or 3 weeks, depending on, you know, if anything comes up. And they seem to relay the message through because they have standing in their community.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.